Coming up on Valley View News, why sales are dropping in the Piñata district. Plus, California zoos reopen with new precautions. And athlete turned entrepreneur, how he's inspiring his community one cleat at a time.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Andrea Esparza.
And I'm Ava Lang in the Digital Media Center.
The U.S. death toll from the coronavirus dropped more than 500,000. Meanwhile, Los Angeles County reported 1,465 new cases of COVID-19 and 93 additional deaths Sunday. Dr. Fauci says that decades from now, people will be talking about the pandemic as it's a historical milestone.
It's really horrible. It's something that is historic. It's nothing like we've ever been through in the last 102 years since the 1918 influenza pandemic.
The Department of Veteran Affairs says the death toll is 2 times the number of Americans killed in World War II.
LA's COVID-19 vaccine rollout is back in operation after doses for the city were delayed. Severe weather in Kentucky and Tennessee affected thousands of doses being delivered. So people with appointments last weekend were turned away. Now they're being prioritized. And people due for second doses will hear from the city about their appointments by Tuesday. The 6 vaccination sites in LA County are Dodger Stadium, Hanson Dam, San Fernando Park, Lincoln Park, Pierce College, and the Crenshaw Christian Center.
Governor Gavin Newsom visited 2 Los Angeles mobile vaccination sites to highlight the state's effort to reach communities most impacted by the coronavirus. He visited sites throughout California to show that vaccinations are ramping up. So far, more than 7 million doses of vaccines have been administered, and Newsom said more mobile vaccination sites will start opening up all over the state.
This is the first of what you'll see many similar sites operating over the course of the next number of weeks, upwards of 250 vaccinations a day at a pop-up site like this.
The mobile vaccination sites target low-income communities where many essential workers live and work.
The COVID-19 pandemic hit businesses hard in one of the most vibrant neighborhoods in Los Angeles, the Piñata district. Our reporter Liseth Seja spoke with a businessman about his struggles to stay open.
The pandemic hit Los Angeles Piñata district harder than most other neighborhoods. Small party supply stores like the Carousel Party Supply are struggling to stay afloat.
Muy despacio, de un 100%.
Sales have dropped from 100% to nearly 25%, not even 50%.
Carousel Party Supply has been open for more than 6 years. Its sales dropped 75% of what they were last year at this time when the pandemic hit. Lino says he spent most of his savings keeping the store open. Small businesses like Lino's are family operated. They tend to not have formal payroll systems in place, so unfortunately, they're automatically ineligible for any state and federal government COVID-19 relief.
Complicado.
It's complicated. They tell you go on a website, but when you get there to answer certain questions, you're automatically disqualified. It's very sad.
Employee Demetrio Hernandez has worked in the party supply industry for more than 7 years. He's never seen sales drop so rapidly.
Si nos quiere mantener que estemos aquí.
The boss just want to keep us here, cleaning, organizing, but like you can see, there's no sales. There's no one here.
So far, Carousel has managed to stay open. It's one of the few Piñata district stores to survive. Of the many small businesses here that have closed, it's unclear how many of them will reopen. From Los Angeles, Liseth Seja for Valley View News.
Attorney General nominee Merrick Garland told a Senate hearing and confirmed one of his top priorities will be investigating the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol. He's vowed to stop the rising threats of domestic terrorism, and he appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee for confirmation. He was also questioned about the investigation of former President Trump's 2016 campaign, the death penalty, and even gun control. Garland said under him, the Justice Department will be independent.
The president has promised that those decisions will only be made by the Attorney General, and that is what I plan to do. I do not plan to be interfered with by anyone.
Senate Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin said he expects Garland to be confirmed by next week.
The U.S. Supreme Court rejected former President Trump's request to shield his taxes from the Manhattan District Attorney. Trump made the request in October. The DA's office wants 8 years' worth of Trump's taxes. They'll investigate suspicious property valuations claimed by Trump. The DA will also look into payments to women he allegedly had affairs with.
In Texas, frozen pipes left millions of people with no water at home, and water treatment plants closed due to power outages. In the meantime, the average price for electricity skyrocketed, and many residents face enormous bills for electricity used during the storm. Governor Greg Abbott said the state has a responsibility to protect Texans from spikes in energy prices as a result of the storm. Last weekend, President Biden approved disaster relief for Texas.
The weekend of the Texas storm, Senator Ted Cruz went on a family trip to Cancun as his constituents suffered. Thousands were without electricity. Keeping warm in freezing temperatures was a challenge. Texas Republican Michael McCall criticized Cruz for taking the trip. He said when the crisis hit his state, he was there and not taking a vacation.
It was obviously a mistake, and in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it.
Cruz later apologized for leaving on a vacation during a crisis.
United Airlines was ordered to inspect all of its Boeing 777 airplanes after a recent engine explosion. The jet flying over Denver had an emergency landing after its engine exploded. The FAA wants engine blades inspected on the United's Boeing 777 fleet. The plane had 231 passengers and 10 crew members when the mishap happened. No injuries were reported.
Koreatown is known for delicious foods, cultural markets, and a vibrant atmosphere. However, some residents think the area needs an accessible park. Valley View reporter Donna Ramirez spoke with a Koreatown neighborhood leader about a plan to build a park.
Here in Koreatown, Los Angeles, you'll find many restaurants, grocery stores, and apartments, but there's something that any K-Town resident will struggle to find: an accessible park.
Koreatown's like no other place in the world.
Adrienne Hoff is president of the Worcester Center Koreatown Neighborhood Council. She is working on a proposal called Reimagine 6th Street. The plan calls for closing off half a mile of 6th Street from Normandy to Vermont and turn it into a pedestrian plaza.
The majority of Koreatown residents do not live within a 10-minute walk of a park, and that makes us the most park-poor neighborhood in the city.
The plan seeks to decrease traffic and violence. Supporters also think it will better support small businesses while adding more community resources in Koreatown. However, there are concerns that the plan could change the character of the community.
Gentrification, as I've discussed, homelessness, and how this is going to impact parking and traffic.
Nonetheless, some Koreatown residents like Brian Rosas says parks are needed here, especially for children.
LA needs a little bit more green spaces for people to kind of hang out with their dogs or kids, kind of a thing. What do kids do here, you know?
The proposal is in the works, and it all depends on the community's involvement with the project. Adrienne Hoff is hoping to see this neighborhood park by the end of the year. Donna Ramirez here in K-Town.
Governor Gavin Newsom's plan to reopen Los Angeles County schools is getting some criticism. The teachers union opposes his proposal to vaccinate school staff members quickly. They want to wait until the infection rates drop and vaccinations are more widely available for workers. The United Teachers Los Angeles president Cecily Myrick Cruz says the union will hold firm to protect the health of students and their union members.
Los Angeles usually gets about 4 inches of rain in February, but this month LA got none. Most of California will be drier than usual for the next couple of weeks. The La Niña weather system means the spring will also be a dry one. La Niña climate patterns create warmer and drier conditions across the southern United States. Climatologist Bill Patzert said it'll take a mega miracle to get the state back to a normal rainfall year. The lack of rainfall has a serious implication for California's wildfires.
UCLA student who participated in the storming of the U.S. Capitol has previous complaints of offensive tweets. Christian Secker's tweets created controversy because he wished death on immigrants. Students complained to the administrators, but nothing was done. Since the Capitol riot, Secker has been arrested and charged with various counts of assault and civil disorder.
Six Flags Magic Mountain will reopen this spring. The theme park tweeted that rides will be running but didn't give an exact date. Visitors will be required to wear face masks and keep social distancing. Also, a new online reservation system will help manage crowds. Guests in the dining area and those on rides will be required to practice social distancing. The theme park has been closed since last March. Before opening, Magic Mountain still needs state approval.
Some California zoos are reopening after being closed for COVID-19. Our reporter Kimberly Garcia has a story on how both zoo staffs and animals have adjusted to the reopenings.
Monkey squeals and children's voices are echoing through the zoo once again. After being closed for several months because of COVID, many California zoos are now reopening. Zoologists say animals also had to adjust their routines. Now, animals will be welcoming visitors again.
I've been watching these animals for all their life, and I think they're inspired to see little kids running around again, and it gives them something different and fun to look at.
Zoo doors opened in early February. The transition was difficult. The zoo had to implement numerous sanitary precautions around the park in order to comply with CDC guidelines.
He's not happy about it.
The zoo also now has a modified reopening with limited capacity.
You gonna leave it on, okay?
Wearing a face covering protects themselves, the other visitors, and then of course it also protects our animals that can be affected.
Visitors say they're excited to roam the zoo again. Many say the zoo's reopening offers the public a safe way to be entertained during quarantine. The zoo will accept visitors on a first-come, first-served basis.
I knew the zoo was here. I knew it had partly reopened, and we have grandchildren, 5 and 2.5, and they love it here, and so do I.
For now, the Santa Ana Zoo will only allow animal watching. All other attractions will remain closed until further notice. Reporting for Valley View News in Santa Ana, I'm Kimberly Garcia.
After the break on Valley View News, we'll take a look at the vaccination efforts in the UK and Australia and how a local resident turned his passion for soccer into an apparel business.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Starting July 30th, all British adults will be able to receive the first dose of the coronavirus vaccine. Jordan Henry reports from Studio B.
The UK government plans to vaccinate every British adult with the first dose of the coronavirus vaccine by July 31st. Those over 50 years old or with underlying health conditions are expected to be vaccinated by April 15th. The country has totaled the most coronavirus deaths in Europe with over 120,000. So far, more than 17 million people have been vaccinated. This week, Australia started its vaccination rollout. Sunday, Prime Minister Scott Morrison was among the first to get vaccinated. The next day, the broader rollout started with the doses of the Pfizer vaccine. 60,000 doses will be done by the end of the week. The first phase is for frontline healthcare workers and senior citizens. Australia will get its first batch of the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine soon. Australia expects 25 million people to be vaccinated by October. Ecuador is currently having a presidential election. The final results from February 7th first round of the race showed the leading candidate, Andrés Arauz, won a 32.72% of the vote. Former banker Guillermo Lasso came in second with a 19.74%. The two will face off in a second round on April 11th. Indigenous leader Yaku Perez lost second place by a slim margin. He blames the loss on election fraud, and his request for a recount was suspended. The engine of a Boeing 747 flying over the Netherlands caught fire this weekend. The blaze resulted in pieces of the plane breaking off and plummeting toward the ground. 2 more people were injured by the falling debris. Several cars and homes have been damaged. The plane has even taken off towards JFK Airport in New York City. When the crew noticed an issue, pilots safely landed the cargo plane. Boeing is aiding Dutch authorities with an investigation. Protesters have been gathering in Myanmar to protest military coup. Demonstrators first started February 2nd. Police have opened fire on demonstrators, with at least 2 people dead. The sister of one victim recalls the chaos.
I shouted, "Help! Help me move her to the side." Someone said that we should take her helmet off. Only then did we realize she'd been shot.
The military junta warned protesters that they will continue to be shot. Tens of thousands of people have been seen throughout the streets, even neighborhooding towns. Activists are encouraging citizens to join the movement, now labeled 5-2s.
Luis Garcia, a Canoga Park resident, transformed his passion for soccer into a business that's having a positive impact on his community. Our sports reporter Luis Miron shares the inspiring story of Footy Tribe.
No matter the sport, every athlete dreams of going pro. Soccer coach and player Luis Garcia also had that dream. Unfortunately, his chances of reaching the big leagues were slim to none. Garcia never went pro. So he transformed his passion into a clothing line. Thus, Footy Tribe was born.
For me, it was important to create this brand so that aside from coaching, I could do something else where I have a little bit more freedom of creativity.
As Garcia dove deeper into his brand, he realized that Footy Tribe could turn into a career path. Garcia says he wants young players to know that there are other outlets within soccer besides being a pro. And now, with some of the profits from Footy Tribe, Garcia is helping kids in their communities.
I feel great because sometimes my mom can't afford it and I have to deal with what I have.
Very good, Jacob! Garcia and his brand is having a positive effect in the communities where he coaches. He doesn't just hand kids new cleats, but instead he gives them a shoe buying experience. Canoga Park soccer mom Veronica Garcia talks about her son's experience with Footy Tribe.
I tell him there should be more people in this world like you. He does it not for any fame, what he gets out of it. He does it to help the soccer community.
In the future, Garcia hopes to make Footy Tribe a full-time job, moving his business inside his home to an actual store. Reporting in Thousand Oaks for Valley View News, I'm Luis Miron.
NBA TV will air 2 HBCU basketball games Monday in honor of Black History Month. The games will be between Jackson State University and Grambling State University. The women's game is scheduled at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. The men's game will air at 2:30. The coverage will include Jackson State's Sonic Boom of the South Marching Band. The 2 games are the first to be broadcasted on NBA TV.
Novak Djokovic won his 9th Australian Open tennis title on Sunday. The Serbian player is the top-ranked tennis athlete in the world, and this is his 18th career Grand Slam. Djokovic has won the Open the last 3 years in a row, and he's also won every Australian Open he's ever competed in. Djokovic won 11 of his 13 games straight, and during the 3rd round of the final tournament game, Djokovic tore his abdominal muscle but continued to play. He says he's now focused on the French Opens in May.
Max Homa secured his 2nd PGA victory in his hometown of Riviera Sunday. The Genesis Invitational was hosted by golfer Tiger Woods, who presented Homa with a trophy. It was an emotional win. Homa says he's dreamed of this moment since he was young. He nearly missed his chance at victory when he lost his 3rd footer, but he made a remarkable comeback, landing a shot from up against the base of a tree. This heroic win is a lesson for all golfers to be creative around the greens.
Despite the pandemic, a retired professional surfer is still teaching her students. Valley View News reporter Cindy Rodriguez spoke with a surfer to see how she does it.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. There. Now stand up. So much easier. Midway, left.
Mary Osborne didn't miss a beat while California beaches were closed during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the former pro surfer is in her happy place, teaching anyone how to catch a wave.
I really love sharing the sport with young kids and anyone. It's such a healthy sport to be out there.
Mary surfed professionally for more than 20 years. The champion longboarder retired and started the Mary Osborne Surf Academy. She's taken to mentoring people who want to pursue professional surfing. People like her head instructor, Alana Klassen.
I've known Mary forever. I've always wanted to travel and do what she does, and so I just had to get out there and figure it out. And ever since I got in the water, I fell in love with it.
And even during uncertain times, Mary hopes surfing can bring peace of mind to anyone who seeks it.
You know, you're out in Mother Nature, it's good for the brain, it's good for the body. You get exhausted and you don't even know you're getting exhausted.
All right, lovelies, let's do this.
Although California beaches are open, officials continue to remind residents that gathering without proper social distancing could spread COVID-19 among participants. Reporting from Ventura, I'm Cindy Rodriguez.
When we come back, a preview of the Golden Globes happening this Sunday, and also a 14-year-old starts her own sweater business to honor her late grandfather. Stay with us.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
The 78th annual Golden Globe Awards are coming up, and this year's show will be a little different. The pandemic is forcing everything to be done virtually. Tina Fey will host from the East Coast, and Amy Poehler will host from the West Coast. Nominees will stream from locations around the world, and award excitement remains, but this year there's a focus on the Hollywood Foreign Press Association and their lack of African-American members. In the past, many of the members of the Foreign Press Association have been criticized for their ethics. Some think that their nominations aren't reflective of the different cultures. The award show will air on Sunday at 5 on NBC.
Disney Plus has put out a negative depiction disclaimers in front of episodes of The Muppet Show. The Muppet Show became available to stream last week. Disney Plus is issuing advisory warnings saying the show includes negative depictions of people. Disney Plus says that rather than remove the content, they want to acknowledge its harmful impact. This is a part of Disney Plus Disney Stories Matter initiative.
James Frankel settles his sexual misconduct case with two women who accused him of engaging in sexually charged behavior. The accusers say Franco coerced them into performing unnecessary sex scenes when they were enrolled in his master class. Their 2019 lawsuit accuses the actor of seeking to create a pipeline of young women to be subject to sexual exploitation in the name of education. The term of the settlements are still unknown.
French electronic music duo Daft Punk announced they're retiring. The duo has called it quits after nearly 30 years. They released a video titled Epilogue to announce their retirement. The reason for the split hasn't been announced. Daft Punk's last album, Random Access Memories, was released in 2013. It won a Grammy for Best Album in 2014.
Award-winning singer Stevie Wonder is permanently moving to Ghana, a country in West Africa. Wonder says the political turmoil in the U.S. is one of the reasons he's leaving. He says he wants to see his nation smile again, and he doesn't want his grandchildren to have to ask people to like or have respect for them. This isn't the first time he says he's wanted to move. In 1994, Wonder said he wanted to move to Ghana for the culture and the community.
Winter is gone, but we are still in sweater weather season. Our reporter Liliana Ramirez spoke with a 14-year-old who began her own sweater business to honor her late grandfather.
Madison Cruz started her own business, Sweater Weather.
We've shipped all around the world.
At just 14 years old.
We've sold to Germany and Austria.
She says she's honoring her late grandfather by selling some of the items he once sold in his stores. He imported apparel from South America to sell in Los Angeles.
I went to Melrose back in January, and I noticed that everything was kind of coming back in style, like this funky, like 80s.
Madison's grandfather's most popular items were the vintage Peruvian sweaters. He worked with a team of designers to make them. Once her grandpa retired, more than 1,000 sweaters were put in storage. Many are now in her garage. Mark Cruz is Madison's dad.
She took the initiative on herself. She did it all on her own and brought the whole idea and the concept herself.
Madison wants to make money and donate some to the Alzheimer's Association. Her grandfather passed away after suffering from Alzheimer. Madison wants to bring more awareness to the disease.
We package all of our orders with a handwritten card on our story and where you can find everything. And I write a thank you and how the portion of the proceeds goes to the Alzheimer's Association.
Madison plans on incorporating vintage jeans from the 80s to her company. The jeans also belong to her grandfather. In Santa Clarita, I'm Liliana Ramirez reporting for Valley View News.
Tesla has made roughly $1 billion in paper profits from its investments into Bitcoin. The information comes from Wedbush Securities analyst Daniel Ives. Ives says Tesla is on track to make more money from Bitcoin than from selling its cars all of last year. This month, the company disclosed in the Securities and Exchange Commission filing that it had bought $1.5 billion worth of cryptocurrency. The purchase was made sometime last month, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk recently said he bought Bitcoin because it's simply a less dumb form of liquidity than cash. Musk hopes people will be able to buy cars using cryptocurrency soon.
Fried chicken sandwich on a taco? Taco Bell is making that dream come true with its new crispy chicken taco sandwich. The nationwide rollout is planned for later this year. Taco Bell says it's ready to grow its menu again following a major reduction last year. Meanwhile, fried chicken sandwiches are becoming more popular. Fast food chains are getting creative with more flavor-filled options. The crispy chicken taco sandwich will be available starting March 11th.
Nearly 30,000 Mac computers worldwide have been infected with a mysterious malware. Researchers at the security firm Red Canary say they're unclear of the malware's intent. The firm says they don't see the malware delivering any harmful actions, but they're also unclear on how it affected computers.
Imagine getting paid $2,000 to sleep in a 5-star resort. SleepStandards.com wants candidates for their sleep study. The company is researching how environmental factors affect your quality of sleep. The 5-day experiment puts people in a different sleep environment each night. All they have to do is report their sleep experience and rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. If you want to participate, apply to SleepStandards.com.
An 1800s Victorian home was relocated in San Francisco. It moved 7 blocks from Franklin Street to Fulton Street, and many street lights, power lines, and trees had to be removed and trimmed to allow the relocation to happen. This is the first time in 45 years the city moved a building of this scale. Spectators nearby were excited to see the building move.
I keep looking for the Wicked Witch of the East. It's supposed to be under it, but she's not. It's just bizarre.
Where else can you see a beautiful, ornate Victorian turning a corner in the middle of all these other buildings? And it's such a tight squeeze.
A new 47-unit apartment complex will be built where the original house stood.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Ava Lang.
And I'm Andrea Esparza. For stories any time of the day, go to our website sundial.csun.edu. Thanks for watching.